So hi, what can you tell me about a place that has changed? What's that place?
I grew up in Witikon in Zurich, and near to my parents' house there was a lot of fields. I lived on a street which was quite a modern, there was modern buildings there in that street, but at the one end of the street we had the woods, and on the other end it led to the old centre of the village. In the old centre of the village, I learned in primary school they had cows walking down the main street where there's now a co-op, and you could still really tell it used to be this little farming village. It joined Zurich in 1934, so until then it had less than 10,000 inhabitants, and there was a little church up on the hill and lots of farmhouses round about and lots of fields. In summer they still have cows there, but it's lost some of its charm in the last 10 years. About 8 or 9 years ago, when I was still living there with my parents, we used to go, no, before that even, when I was a really little child, we used to go sledging on this big field nearby our house in this old part of the town. I think it belonged to a farmer, and it had a reasonable slope, so we could go sledging on it nicely. All the families in Witikon used to go there, so in winter, as soon as it snowed, everyone congregated there to go sledging. And in summer my friends and I would play on the field, play football. Sometimes we'd camp out there at night. It was a really nice kind of villagey feeling, as if you're out in the countryside. And when I was about 9 or 10 years old, suddenly these big poles began appearing all over the old part of the village on all these fields, and we learned that they'd sold the land to building companies, and these new big building blocks were going to be built on them. So for a while we still sledged around these poles because they were up for quite a bit, and eventually when they started building we had to find a new place to go sledging, which wasn't easy because there were other fields in the old part of Witikon which could have been used for sledging, but they too got built up after the years. And now these fields, they don't exist anymore. They're these big modern blocks and people live there now. Some parts of the field are now their gardens, but they don't have that same characteristic as a proper field did. And yeah, it's a shame as well, because part of the characteristic of that old villagey feeling has gone lost over the years by building on it. We used to have, I know I can't really talk because we also live in a modern block, but my parents had a wonderful view from their bedroom window onto the mountains over this big field, and now they just see these flats, they can't see the mountains anymore. So it has impacted us in different ways. As a child, there's space to play, and not just for me as well, for lots of families living in Witikon. It really was a spot where everyone knew you could go sledging.
What's your role now at the place?
I don't live there anymore, so I go home to see my parents occasionally, and I often also walk up to my parents' house rather than take the bus. I'll walk through the old part of town because it's still part of the village, because it still has some meaning to me. It's a really nice spot to be, and it feels different. It's not the same, and I felt very sad when they built on these fields because it was part of my childhood, and there's a sort of nostalgia that I combine with it.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything else to say?
No.
Thank you. Perfect.